This rotten leaf trick revives dead soil faster than fertilizer. If you've been following Soil Sage Chronicles for a while, you already know I have a deep respect for things most gardeners throw away: kitchen scraps, weeds, banana peels, rice wash, even the water left after soaking beans. But among all the secret boosters hiding in plain sight, there's one natural resource we underestimate the most: rotten leaves. Yes, those soft, crumbly, half-decayed leaves sitting under trees or tucked into forgotten corners of your garden can quite literally bring your soil back from the dead. Most gardeners see rotten leaves and think trash, but in the world of natural gardening, they're treasure. They're the result of months, sometimes years, of fungi, bacteria, and microcritters working together to create a material that's richer than most commercial fertilizers. And when you transform those leaves into an FPJ, or fermented plant juice, you're basically bottling microbe-rich life support for dying soil. In today's Soil Sage Chronicles deep dive, I want to show you the real power behind rotten leaves, why this method works even for dead soil that refuses to grow anything, and exactly how to make and apply it with correct ratios for gardens of different sizes. No fluff, no vague information, just the truth, the evidence, and the practical steps you can use today to revive your garden. Let's bring your soil back to life. Every handful of rotten leaves is alive with microbial activity. This is not just mulch or compost material, it's the early stage of true leaf mold. If you've ever dug your hand into forest soil and felt that soft, earthy, chocolate-brown layer beneath your fingers, you were touching one of nature's most perfect soil conditioners. Rotten leaves carry beneficial fungi, protozoa, and bacteria that help break down organic matter, improve soil structure, and feed roots in ways synthetic fertilizers never can. For gardeners struggling with compacted soil, nutrient-poor beds, yellowing plants, or sickly seedlings, rotten leaves provide something fertilizers alone cannot: life. But the magic really happens when you ferment these leaves into FPJ. Fermentation concentrates their nutrients, multiplies their microbial population, and turns them into a liquid booster that plants can absorb far faster than raw compost. This is why FPJ is the backbone of many Korean natural farming methods. It bypasses the slow breakdown process and sends nutrients directly into plant-ready form. And for gardeners on a budget, especially those growing food, rotten leaves are free. Nature provides them year after year, and most people bag them, burn them, or send them to dumps. Not us, not here at Soil Sage Chronicles. Many gardeners ruin FPJ because of incorrect ratios, wrong materials, or poor fermentation. Start by collecting rotten leaves that are dark brown, soft, and already partially decomposed. These are often found under trees or in shaded corners where moisture lingers. Avoid leaves with white fuzzy mold or a foul swampy smell. Those indicate anaerobic or oxygen-deprived decay, not the healthy microbial activity we want. Once you collect your leaves, go ahead and crumble them into smaller pieces so sugars can penetrate properly during fermentation. Now here's the ratio that really matters, a ratio gardeners often get wrong. You must use equal weight of rotten leaves and sugar, not volume, weight. So, if you have 500 grams of leaves, you need 500 grams of brown sugar or molasses. This 1-to-1 ratio draws out the plant juices, stabilizes microbial growth, and prevents spoilage while encouraging fermentation. It's the same ratio used across K&F recipes because it ensures consistency. Mix the sugar thoroughly with the leaves until they glisten and you see them begin releasing a bit of liquid. This is the moment you know fermentation is starting. Pack the mixture into a jar, but fill it only about 70% to allow space for gases produced during fermentation. Cover the jar with breathable fabric, not a tight lid, to avoid suffocation. Fermentation needs air. Then, place the jar in a warm, shaded area for 7 to 10 days. Stir lightly every day to prevent mold and ensure an even ferment. When your FPJ is ready, it should smell sweet, earthy, and just a bit sour, not rotten or alcoholic. Strain the liquid and store it in a dark bottle. This liquid is your garden's revival tonic. When you apply rotten leaf FPJ to soil, you're adding a concentrated dose of microbes that immediately begin breaking down organic matter, releasing minerals, and improving soil structure. Roots respond fast, new white root hairs appear, nutrient uptake increases. And, within days, plants start showing a deeper green color and improved vigor. You know, rotten leaves are actually quite different from fresh plant FPJs because, well, they carry a much higher fungal population. This really matters since fungi are, honestly, the foundation of healthy soil. They form these amazing mycorrhizal networks, help increase water retention, and they release nutrients slowly to plants. In struggling soil, especially soil that's been chemically treated, compacted, or even abandoned, fungal activity is usually pretty low. That's where rotten leaf FPJ comes in, reintroducing that missing life. For gardeners who grow fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, melons, or cucumbers, a fungal-rich FPJ can really improve flowering, fruit set, and even flavor. Experienced gardeners notice this right away. Beginners, though, sometimes feel like they've stumbled on magic, but honestly, it's just biology working the way it's supposed to. FPJ is, well, it's potent stuff. If you use it without proper dilution, you could actually burn your plants, disrupt soil microbes, or even cause fungal overgrowth. No matter the size of your garden, keeping that dilution ratio accurate is super important. The standard dilution for most garden applications is 1 to 100. That means 1 tablespoon, or about 15 milliliters, of FPJ per liter of water. If you're working with bigger batches, it translates to 100 milliliters per 10-liter watering can. For weak, stressed, or recovering plants, it's definitely safer to go lighter, 1 to 500. This gentler solution lets roots adjust without any shock. And seedlings, they're even more sensitive. Use a really mild dilution, like 1 to 800 or even 1 to 1000. Just enough to give them a little microbial support without overwhelming those tender roots. When applying fermented plant juice, always remember to water the soil first if it's extremely dry. You see, dry soil tends to absorb concentrated FPJ too quickly, which might harm the roots. It's best to apply it in the early morning or late evening to avoid scorching the leaves, if you're using it as a foliar spray. And yes, FPJ can indeed be sprayed on leaves. Plants absorb nutrients faster through their stomata, but do avoid the midday sun for this. These guidelines might sound simple, but getting them right truly makes the difference between seeing mild results and witnessing your garden come back to life. One common question I get on Soil Sage Chronicles is how much diluted FPJ a garden actually needs. The answer really depends on the space and soil condition. For a small 1 meter by 1 meter bed, you'll need about 1 liter of diluted FPJ. This amount spreads evenly without saturating the soil. You can apply it once a week during periods of active growth. When it comes to a medium 3 meter by 3 meter garden bed, you'll require around 3 to 4 liters. This is enough to reach deeper root zones and influence soil microbiology across the entire plot. Apply every 5 to 7 days. Now, for larger gardens, such as a 10 meter by 10 meter plot, expect to use 10 to 15 liters per session. Because large plots often have diverse soil conditions, FPJ works best when paired with light mulching and regular organic matter input. Container gardeners should also use FPJ. A 5-liter bucket-sized container only needs about 200 to 300 milliliters of diluted solution per application. Smaller pots require 50 to 150 milliliters depending on size. Once a week is sufficient, unless the plants are producing fruit, in which case twice a week is ideal. These numbers come from real garden testing, not theory, and they reflect what truly works in home gardens. In Soil Sage Chronicles, I love encouraging gardeners to test things instead of believing blindly. Here's a quick experiment you can try at home to understand how powerful rotten leaves really are. Make 2 FPJs, one from rotten leaves, and another from a fresh vigorous plant such as sweet potato vines, comfrey, or even bean leaves. Keep the ratios, containers, and fermentation duration identical. Then apply them to 2 identical plants, same species, same soil, same pot size, same watering schedule. Label them clearly, FPJ A, which is rotten leaves, and FPJB, which is fresh leaves. Within 3 to 4 weeks, you'll start to see differences. In almost every test I've run and every gardener I've trained, the rotten leaf FPJ produces greener leaves, faster growth, and earlier flowering. Rotten leaves simply carry a deeper microbial complexity because they've been breaking down for months. When you see the difference with your own eyes, you'll never bag or burn leaves again. Even experienced gardeners sometimes make simple mistakes that reduce the effectiveness of their FPJ. The biggest mistake is using incorrect ratios. Too little sugar leads to spoilage, while too much sugar slows fermentation. Another issue is using airtight lids, which causes anaerobic fermentation and foul smells. Some gardeners ferment FPJ for too long, thinking the longer the better, but after 10 to 14 days, fermentation peaks. After that, microbes begin dying or shifting into alcohol production. Applying FPJ under strong sun is another common mistake. The heat actually evaporates the nutrients and can even burn your leaves, so always apply when the sun is low. And finally, avoid mixing FPJ with chemical fertilizers. FPJ is a living solution. Those synthetic salts really harm the microbes inside it. When done correctly, FPJ becomes one of the most powerful gardening tools you will ever make. But honestly, precision matters. Rotten leaves are not waste. They're nature's way of replenishing soil, and when transformed into FPJ, they become a potent tonic that breathes life back into gardens that seem beyond saving. Whether your plants are yellowing, your soil is compacted, or your garden just feels tired, Rotten Leaf FPJ offers a simple, inexpensive, and, honestly, a stunningly effective solution. If you want more deep, practical gardening guides just like this, especially ones that help you build a truly living garden, make sure you subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles, hit the like button, and share this article with a fellow gardener. Let's spread real knowledge, not myths. And let's keep bringing dead soil back to life, one handful of rotten leaves at a time.